Well, good afternoon, Pool Player Nation. I'm Jason Bowman. I'm joined by Bill Tufts. We are here this afternoon for the U.S. Amateur Championship preview and official player meeting. A lot of topics to cover. Bill, I don't know about you, but after a couple months of winter, especially last week here in St. Louis, where we got 10 inches of snow, Tampa sounding pretty good right about now.
Tampa's sounding real good right now. As you can see, it grew out the beard a little bit. That's not for show. That's the old head gets cold. There's not a lot of coverage here, so it'd be good to get down to Florida. You know, do
So
the
let's
USAM.
talk. Yeah, let's talk about this year's U.S. Amateur Championship. As we mentioned, once again being held in the Tampa Bay area, actually over in Pinellas County. The actual event at Strokers, the world famous pool room down there in Palm Harbor, Florida. Great food, great tables, good time. Looking forward to it. Of course, we'll be staying on the other side of the bay at the Godfrey Hotel. Great facility right there on the bay, waterfront. So it should be a great experience for all of you that are traveling down to Tampa this weekend or later next week, whenever you're heading down. I think today, Bill, I know there's a lot to cover. We want to talk a little bit about I think the agendas for each the women's and the open event. Probably talk about some of the COVID mitigation or what that looks like, at least for this event. And I know you've got some rules and stuff you want to cover. And then for the folks tuning in, if you have questions, you can go ahead and throw those in the chat, and we'll take those questions at the end. Somebody will forward them to us through the power of technology, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. But Bill, let's start off with the event agenda. Let's take a look at that. The women's event is going to kick off next Wednesday, February 16th, 1 week from today. And how that's going to look, ladies, for you guys that are playing in the event that morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're going to be doing a photo shoot, a registration, right? You're going to register on site at the Godfrey. This is very important. You're going to register at the Godfrey. We're going to do a photo shoot. The reason that we do this photo shoot is so we can capture images of all of the qualifiers for the tournament. We turn those into some very nice graphics that we make available to you guys on social media. You can make it your Facebook cover photo or whatever you want to do with it. And then we use those throughout the event for some of the streaming and that kind of thing. So it's important, ladies, that you're there from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Godfrey, which is where we're going to do the registration and the photo shoot. And then, Bill, we're going to kick off shortly there after that, 11:30, right over at Strokers. The first round will
Yes.
get
Yep.
underway.
Yeah. So as Jason mentioned, very important that you go to the hotel. That's where you're going to receive your information. That's where you're going to receive your goodie bag. That's where they're going to take excellent photos of you. That keepsake that lasts well past the tournament, right? After that, you're going to come over to Strokers. Now, the first round is at 11:30. So whenever you get your match numbers, we're going to provide those through CompuSport. Whenever you get those, that'll tell you if you're playing in that round or if you're playing in subsequent round. If you're playing in a subsequent round, there's no need to show up at 11:30. You only have to show up if you are playing in that round. Now, of course, we welcome everybody to come enjoy the experience, watch the other players participate. So come on over. If you have any questions, we'll be there. We'll have tournament directors on site. We can answer anything that you need answered, and we'll get you going. What I will say is, after the registration, there's no need to check in for your match, and I think that's a really important thing. That once we know that you're registered, we know you're registered. We know you're in Tampa. We know you're attending the event. From there, you're just looking to show up at your table whenever your match is called through CompuSport, right? So there's no need to come back up to us or to say that you're there, unless you just want to say hi, and say hello or ask us a few questions. So
Yeah,
very
so like you
important.
said, the 11:30 round will be the first round of the day. We've got 7 rounds scheduled on Wednesday, next Wednesday, the 16th. The final round that day, kicking off about 8:30 p.m. If you've been to the U.S. Amateur Championship before, that could be a little later depending on how the rounds go. But ideally, 8:30 that evening would be the final round, the start of the final round of the day.
Yes, and that's all table dependent, right? Table dependent and opponent dependent. So that's for every round. We use every single table at Strokers during these rounds of USAM play. So if there's still a match that's going on from the prior round, you may have to wait a little bit for your table. For the most part, though, we're keeping the matches on time. Everybody's playing within the time guidelines, and it flows pretty smooth. So we should be really close to that 8:30 time frame for that last round of the day.
All right. And so then as we get into the following day, right, we've got the ladies' rounds kicking off that morning at 9 a.m. first round of the day, we start seeing the guys. I shouldn't say the guys, the open event participants. Generally, most of them are guys, right?
So
They
far,
start.
yes.
They're showing up and registering from 9 a.m. Again, guys or open participants. You're registering at the Godfrey on Thursday, February 17th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's going to entail both your registration as well as the same photo shoot we mentioned for the ladies. That's where we take your picture. That's where we make you look awesome. We put you on a graphic. You have that to keep as your own, personal memento. Use it on your social media profiles, wherever you want to put them. But we need you to show up at that time to get the photo. If you're not there, we can't take your photo. You don't get the cool stuff, and that's just going to be how it is. So again, write it down on your calendar for those of you in the open division, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Thursday, February 17th at the Godfrey.
At the Godfrey, and
At the Godfrey. All the
that is the
registration is
key.
at the Godfrey.
Yeah. It's regardless of whether or not you're staying at the Godfrey. The majority of our players are. We do know that there are some local qualifiers that live close enough to be able to drive in. You still have to do the registration at the Godfrey. Jason, I don't want to gloss over this. One of the big reasons why we moved the registration over to the Godfrey was there was more space. There was more time that we could actually run the registrations. We didn't have to cramp them into kind of a shortened period in the morning before we would kick off play at Strokers, right? Get everybody in, try to do the registration, and then start kicking off rounds immediately. This gives the players more time to register. If they're not playing in the morning, or the guys for this matter aren't even playing that day, they can get in, register, get everything out of the way, keeps the crowds down at Strokers, keeps the registrants happier, right? Overall, better experience. And then again, get that awesome photography shoot with the marketing team.
All right. So again, open participants, you're going to be registering 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Godfrey on Thursday, February 17th. Ladies will be continuing play starting at 9 a.m. that Thursday over at Strokers. The final round, the championship round, tentatively scheduled for 2 p.m. that afternoon at Strokers. So guys, if you've gotten registered, you want to come watch some great pool at the late afternoon, we will have the ladies final kicking off about 2 p.m. And then
So
go ahead.
yeah, to interrupt you real quick, Jason, while you brought that up, it struck me. One, everybody always asks what time practice starts. So Strokers will open at 8 a.m. for practice for the ladies that day that are coming in to compete. We do hold practice strictly for the participants that are still competing. We know that the guys are going to be showing up, getting ready for their event. They're going to want to practice. Unfortunately, there's no practice available until after the conclusion of the women. And it's pretty straightforward reason. We want the focus to be on the competition. We don't want the distractions of practice. So, guys, uh, you're going to have to hold off until the evening, right, to get your practice in. And we just ask that anybody that's showing up be respectful of the play that is going on the tables.
All right. So that is Thursday, February 17th. As we move into Friday, February 18th, there will be a very small window for anybody that did not register as they were supposed to the day prior from 9 a.m., very early in the morning, to 10 a.m. And you will be able to register. You may or may not be able to get your photo taken. We're not sure on that. Again, we're not going to make any promises. If you want your photo taken, have it done over at the Godfrey on Thursday between 9 and 1. But the men are going to kick off Bill at 10:30 that day.
Yeah.
They're going to play until looks like Friday. They're going to play. They got a late day. They're going to play all the way
We got
till
a lot of rounds
10:30
to get through. It's a big
10:30
field.
p.m.
Yeah.
round. So again, if you can get your stuff, your registration, everything taken care of on Thursday, maybe you can sleep in a little bit later on Friday. Prepare for that longer day because our last round on Friday is not going to kick off till 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, I think it's really important to state that if the match schedule comes out and you are in that 10:30 a.m. round, which will be 28 of our players will be in that round on the 14 tables, not a good idea to register on Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. because there is a drive to the location, right? So you'd have to register and then get over for your first round. We're not going to hold matches, so make sure that you plan accordingly regarding registration. And I'll just go and say, if you guys have any troubles with the registration, for some reason you're just not able to make it to the event overall or to the registration at the time that the registration is happening, please reach out to Nicole. Nicole Dunn, who everybody that's participating should have already heard from in various different forms. Make sure you reach out to her and let her know, so that we can mark you down and we can figure out a solution for you.
Fair enough. All right. And then we move into Saturday, busy day, another busy day of rounds. We're kicking off that morning, 9 a.m., bright and early start on Saturday morning, which is the 19th. And the final round again that day is going to go off at 10:30 at night. So get your rest the night before if you can. I know the guys like to go out and maybe play some other places there in the Tampa area, but if you're staying in the USAM, if you're still playing, make sure you get some rest because it's going to be a long day on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, the tournament being a double elimination event, right, with 128 players running it on 14 tables takes some time, right? It becomes a marathon. So the guys that treat themselves the best tend to do the best within the event, and the ones that plan for having those days. Now, there are so many players to get through that it takes a while before you're going to have back to back rounds and things of that nature. So you got to plan for that downtime accordingly as well, right? The time between your matches. So once we do get those posted, again, it'll be CompuSport, where we will release the match schedule. I believe Nicole will have information on that in the coming days of when that will be released. But make sure you're looking at that, and that'll help you map out your entire time, win or lose. You can track yourself through the entire tournament and see when you're going to be free, when you may or may not, or when you may play, and just make sure you plan accordingly for it.
All right. And then we move into the final day, Sunday, February 20th, kicking off that morning at 10 a.m. We'll be down to just four matches by then. So I guess 8 participants. And then the finals of that day are tentatively scheduled to go off at 2 p.m. Now, Bill, the way the finals work, or the final rounds, I should say, work for the final day for both ladies, I believe, and the men is we start running continuous play, correct?
We do. So it is a long event, as we said, right? The players that make it this far played a lot of rounds in a row. Um, Idle time, not necessarily a great thing. If we can get matches started sooner, we will. What we normally do is confer with the players. We will give rest breaks, eating breaks, things like that. We'll take care of you, right? But the idea is that we don't want anybody to have to be there or play any longer than necessary. So if we're ready to go, we're ready to go, and we're going to get the matches started.
All right. So should be a fantastic event. There's kind of the breakdown of the agenda. Again, we'll have all of this stuff online on poolplayers.com for you guys to absorb. But we wanted to kind of give you an introduction of what you can expect if you're heading down to Tampa next week. Bill, let's talk a little bit about COVID mitigation measures. You know, this time last year, a little bit later last year, we were in March, but it was really our first big tournament back after the pandemic, or I shouldn't say after, but during the pandemic. And we had a lot of mitigation measures. We were taking temperatures, we were limiting the amount of people in the room. Masks obviously were required. That a lot of that stuff has changed, right? Can you talk a little bit about what things are going to look like? Because for some of us, like where we're at here in Missouri, in the St. Louis area, we don't see as many COVID mandates, if you will. Like you're not required to wear a mask. You're certainly welcome to, but some folks are coming from different areas of the country where these mandates are still very much in effect. So what will it look like at Strokers in terms of COVID mandates, mitigation measures?
So, Jason, thank you for reminding us of last year. For anybody that participated last year, obviously we were grateful for your participation, but you definitely noticed some things that were less than ideal, right? With the COVID mitigation and some of the things that we had to implement. I will say we had to implement them because those were local ordinances and restrictions that we had to abide by, right? Going into this year, we are taking the same stance. We are going to abide by the local ordinances, any type of mandates that they have. What I will say as of today, and this is very important, as of today, there are no social distancing ordinances or mandates within Palm Harbor, where we're having the tournament. There are no mask mandates. There are no capacity restrictions. So we will not be enforcing any of those. What we are very strongly telling everyone is do what you are comfortable with doing. If you want to wear a mask, you are fully supported in wearing a mask in the environment. If not, you're supported in that decision as well. We are leaving it to the individual to make the decision on their health for themselves. With that said, we will provide we will have air filtration systems set up. We will have, the sanitation. We'll have limited masks available for those that may need to get one on site. So we're going to provide you with what we believe, we can reasonably. But when it comes to the actual implementation of any type of mandate, mask, or social distancing, we are strictly going by whatever the local rules are.
All right.
So to say that, Jason, that's what it is today. It
Yeah.
could change, as we know, and we need to make sure that everybody's aware that if it does
Yeah.
change, we've got to change with it. So all we ask is that everybody be aware of that and roll with the punches with us, right? I mean, I think everybody was pretty darn good last year considering the first event back and some of the conditions we were in, and we were really grateful for that, and we would just expect the same and expect that the players will treat each other with respect in regards to the decisions that individuals are going to make when it comes to wearing a mask or social distancing.
All right. So there you have it. Let's talk a little bit about rules, Bill. I'm sure you want to, tournament guy wants to talk about the rules, the details. What kind of information do you want to give the participants in terms of the rules?
The rules shouldn't be that foreign to everybody. I mean, for the most part, the rules remain the same as the preliminary rules that got them to the championship rounds, right? There are a couple of significant changes, though, that I will address. One, we will be using CompuSport. I've mentioned that a couple times. CompuSport will be doing all of the brackets. So there won't be necessarily an on-site big printout board where we're writing it down. What we ask is that everybody go to CompuSport, download the app, find our event, find yourself, follow yourself. Pretty simple process, but that'll allow you, that's basically a gateway into everything that could potentially happen to you in regards to wins, losses, your next matchup, how your friends are doing in the tournament. If you're back home, you're watching this, you're not actually going to be out there, you can download CompuSport 2 and follow your friends in the tournament. That's how we'll actually release match time or match tables as well. So approximately 15 minutes prior to the start of a round, if we've got a table available, we will call your table. It'll go straight to the CompuSport. If you sign up for the notifications, it'll ding you and say, hey, your table's available, and tell you exactly what table to go to. If you guys run into any issues with CompuSport between now and the event or even at the event, feel free to come up to us and we'll be happy to walk you through any of that process. We will also have a kiosk set up on site, just a computer that people can access in case they don't have the app on their phone or you know they don't have their phone, something like that, where they don't have access to it. We'll make sure on site that you do.
Bill, when do those brackets get posted on there? When can people start seeing themselves and where they're at?
So I was going to check with Nicole before today. The brackets still weren't ready yet. We expect them to be posted within the next couple days, though.
Okay, so keep
So
an
they
eye
will
out
be
for that.
available. They will be available prior to your registration. Again, try to get those out in the next couple days.
Okay. What else you got for us on the rules front?
All right. So, well, we know that the women's is a combination of 8 ball and 9 ball. It's a race to 7, 8 games of 9 ball, 5 games of 8 ball. Winner of the lag can choose the game or the break. And once the game is chosen, the entire set will be played out. Again, the same rules as the preliminary. For the finals match, wait, was I reading the? I think I was reading the men. Sorry, that's the men. The women play race to 5. You got the wrong notes here. So, yeah, the women play race to 5, and then in the final match, I believe it's a race to
9.
9. Yes, 9. For the men, what I just said, race to 7, 8 games of 9 ball, 5 games of 8 ball. For the finals match, again, the finals match for the men is also an extended race. It's a race to 11, 13 games of 9 ball, 8 games of 8 ball. So the tournament is double elimination up until that final round. And what we're making sure of is that we don't have to double dip, go another extra round on top of that. So the extended race allows us to easily declare a winner, but also not play any later than we have to. The
All
next point
right.
I want to bring up is the dress code. So, of all the things that I'll probably address a million times between now and the event and at the event is the dress code. Hello, Casey.
Bye,
Sorry.
Casey.
Bye, Casey.
Sorry.
One of Jason's team members there. Um, the dress code, guys. So this is a big difference than the preliminaries. We do have a very strict dress code. Steve, do we have that up for everybody? Okay. So let's go ahead and tackle the men's dress code. Jason, you mind reading that off? I can't see that on my screen here. Oh no, I got it. I got it now. Yeah. So for the men's, casual slacks, dress pants, sleeve shirts in good taste. Proper footwear must be worn. Um, all attire must be clean without tears, holes, or stains. This is a big one. These are the no's. No hats, no t-shirts, no shorts, no athletic apparel. That would be jogging pants, jogging jackets, that kind of thing. Cargo pants or jeans are allowed. So at the preliminaries, the rule wasn't this stringent. In at Strokers for the championship round, it is.
So pretty much
we
everything I'm wearing right now, I
it's not
cannot
allowed.
play in.
It's not allowed. You could wear what I'm wearing. So we do provide a shirt for everybody. You're feel free to wear that, but make sure you show up in the proper attire, right? If you show up in improper attire, you will be asked to change. If you don't have something to change in, you could forfeit your match. And unfortunately, we've seen it. We've sent people to stores around town to find clothes to put on that would fit the dress code. Some people have driven all the way back to the hotel to find it. But I think the thing that surprises people is that we are serious. This isn't something that we let pass. You will be forfeited, and it's the worst thing. It's the worst thing that as tournament director, it's the worst thing to have to disqualify somebody for or forfeit them out of a match for is the fact that they didn't wear proper attire, right? So make sure that you have proper attire. If you have any questions on that attire, send it over before you get to us, right? You shoot us over a description of what it is, ask us if it's okay. We'll roll on it. We'll give you an answer, but please, please, please pay attention to that. So
Fair
Steve, you
enough.
want to go to the women's? Okay. All right. So for the women's, we've got casual slacks, dress pants, capris, skirts, dresses, shirts in good taste. Says dresses and skirts must be of conservative length. Uh, I'll let everybody else determine what that is. I think we all know what that is. You know, when you see it, kind of thing. Let's make sure that it's
Tread
that
lightly, my friend.
tread lightly. Yeah, yeah. Proper footwear. Everybody always asks about footwear. We're not taking pictures of your feet, right? And what we realize is asking people to wear dress shoes. One, kind of uncomfortable when you're playing in a tournament this long. Two, not everybody has them. It can be a pretty pricey expense. And it's really hard to find replacements if you happen to not wear the proper footwear. So we did address that. And basically, we just want you to wear things that, the shoes don't have tatters, holes, things like that, that they look decent enough, but that they're comfortable for you too. So no big ones on that. Steve, I need to see the bottom half of that if you don't mind, sir. Now, so the last part, again, it's no hats, no t-shirts, no shorts, no athletic apparel. One thing we get asked about all the time are the yoga style pants, right? With the ladies, again, slacks. Slacks are going to be your guaranteed way of not drawing, uh, you know, dress code violation. So the yoga pants, don't wear. Um, no jeans allowed. So pretty similar to the men, right? Just nice casual. And we try to lay out as best we could what you can and can't wear. Again, if you have any questions, just contact us and we'll let you know.
Fair enough. Any other rules that you need to convey to the masses today, Mr. Tufts?
All right. So I've already talked about the table assignments. Table assignments all go through CompuSport. One score sheet per match will be provided. Both players are required to keep score. Okay, so both of you make sure, we've seen discrepancies in score sheets before. It typically happens when one player keeps score and the other player wasn't looking at it until the very end, and one guy or one gal have their arms in the air because they just won, and the other person thinks that there's still another game to be played. So be marking the score sheet, both players. Both players will sign the score sheet at the end, and then the winner is responsible for returning the completed score sheet to the control table, where basically we'll verify you are the winner. You circled the right name. That's also that we advance it correctly on the bracket. And then once we do that, once we advance on the bracket, we ask that you go out there and look at the bracket. And sometimes mistakes happen. The wrong winner gets circled, the wrong name gets scanned, and then the bracket gets advanced inaccurately. So we want to make sure that you guys are looking. If you see something funny, let us know. This kind of goes to the staff at the control table. We will have staff at a control table the entire time. If you have any questions throughout the event about anything going on, please come see us. This will include myself. Nicole will be there for everybody that's familiar with her. We do have floor managers on shift. They will be the ones that are acting as referees. They will also make ruling calls on things that they did not see, right? So if there are any discrepancies or a situation comes up, they will make the determination on that. We will also have the stream team who will be doing their own thing, and I'll just go ahead and mention that sometimes they'll have questions for you or things to do, and that typically involves the actual streaming table. And there's way too much stuff that you guys do, Jason, to get players prepared for that match and the starts and all of that. If you guys happen to find yourselves on the table, we'll walk you through all that. It's not too bad.
I'm glad you mentioned that though, Bill, because we are sending out, we may have already sent it or we're getting ready to send it, but it's basically a short questionnaire for all the qualifiers. Basically, it's asking you just a few things about yourself and your pool career. And what that does, like Bill said, it allows for us to be able to talk about you if you are selected to play on the streaming table. Some of the players at US Amateur Championship we're very familiar with. A lot of times, though, we're seeing all this new blood that comes in and we aren't as familiar. So we like to get to know you, and it's a way for us to get to know you very quickly and be able to talk about you in a very positive way throughout the stream. So please make sure you fill those out when you get them via email. That's the easiest way. If you totally forget and you get on site, we'll give you a piece of paper and a pen, and you can write it all down. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to have to actually use pen and paper to write stuff down anymore. So do it online. Make it easy on yourself. Make it easy on us, and we will make you a superstar. All right.
I was grinning because I think we actually give them pencils, which
Ooh,
might be worse than pens.
pencil.
But yes, make sure you have those filled out. Um, if you do make it to the streaming matches can be found on what, Jason? YouTube, Facebook.
We will be live streaming both to our Facebook platform here, where you guys are tuning in to watch us. We'll be on our YouTube channel, and I believe we'll be live streaming. I don't know if that will be live streaming, but we will be pushing that video to both our Amazon Fire platform and our Roku platform. So if you're on either one of those, you can look up APA Pool, find us on there, and the matches will appear there. But I don't believe they will appear there live.
And Jason, we're doing one table for the stream,
One
right?
main table.
One main table.
Moscone Team USA captain Jeremy Jones. A lot of you guys know Double J, my buddy. He's going to be in town calling the matches with me. So you'll have the opportunity, if you're on that table, of having your match commentated on by, obviously one of the top players in the entire world. And Jeremy Jones too. So I was seeing if anybody's paying attention.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
not winning any USAMs
Yeah.
anytime soon, bud. I've
No,
seen
but
your
yeah,
game.
Jeremy will be there. I think we had a question about that, so I know folks look forward to seeing him and picking his brain, and he's a great guy. We're looking forward to seeing him for sure.
And one thing I want to put out there, Jason, that we kind of stress it at all the rest of the events. Feel free to stream the match yourself. If the table doesn't happen to have the camera over it, you're not on the official stream table. We do encourage you to go ahead and take out your phone and stream it for your friends back home. Right? It's perfectly allowed. One thing is, it's only players in the arena, so you might have to hand it to the player, and they might have to set it up themselves. But we know that the people back home want to see these matches, and we're happy if you guys can help us provide them to them.
Absolutely. Any other rules?
All right. So we do have the push out rule at this. We also allow jump queues at the USAM, so nothing different than the preliminary rounds. One thing that always comes up, we have about, I don't know, it's probably a dozen, 2 dozen people come up at the event before it kicks off and ask us if there is a 3 foul rule. We do not have a 3 foul rule. So that's the one thing I will mention here that is not something that we have. So no 3 foul rule. Um, if a shot is close, we ask that you call a floor manager. The floor manager will come over and watch the hit. It's hard for us to rule on a hit we weren't asked to see, and the call goes to the shooter. So it's very important that you come and get us. The room is the way it's laid out. When you guys get there, you'll kind of see there are some, I won't call them blind spots, but there are some spots where you might not be easily seen. So feel free to just walk over to the control table and ask for a floor manager if one hasn't already arrived at your table. You need a call. Just kind of courtesy, please turn down your cell phones. You know, we're always in there. And this extends past cell phones, right? This goes to, it's pretty serious competition in the room. And there are people that are taking it very serious because they should. This is it's a big tournament. It's very hard to get here. Of the, 160-ish players that'll actually be here, they had to get through 20, what was it? 2,700 players in their local preliminaries to get here. So everybody's worked really hard to get to this stage. We just ask that, the participants as well as the spectators and other people that come in to the venue be respectful of the play that's happening on the table. So part of that is making sure that you're not um, providing distraction unnecessarily, right? We fully encourage cheering. I mean, that's we fully encourage cheering, but there's definitely some things that go beyond sportsmen like, and sometimes people just aren't paying attention to the actual matches happening and what their potential impact is on those. We just ask everybody to be self-aware, right, in that environment, that these players are playing hard, and let's not make it any harder for them. So turn down your cell phones, keep the conversations outside of the game, to a relatively quiet level, and be respectful if you're in or around the arena.
Bill, I think one of the really unique things about the U.S. Amateur Championship is the high level of sportsmanship you see
Oh, it's
there.
awesome.
Really
Yeah.
unlike anything. And it's not to say that there's a lot of bad sportsmanship out there, but at this particular event, these guys and gals are just, it's really on another level. The respect that is shared there between participants. So, I don't think we see a ton of problems, but it is a good reminder
No.
to just kind of, be
We
on your
don't we
best
don't
behavior.
have a lot. We don't have a lot. There's just a couple times where we might have to walk by and be like, "Hey guys, can you, kind of keep it down and stuff?" But everybody's really good, and for the most part, the spectators and everybody in there understands what's happening and how important this is for the players that are competing. So we don't have a lot of issues there. It's just a casual reminder to, you know, be aware of it, and let's keep it the same. Let's make it an awesome environment for these guys to play in. All right. So, a couple other things. Earphones are not allowed at the tournament. What I'm wearing, not allowed. We know a lot of people like to listen to music while they play. We don't allow it. It's kind of in this tournament. We realize you're probably not getting coaching from too many people about your game. You're probably pretty solid in your game yourself. You probably wouldn't like it too much. However, we want to kill the perception. And the other thing that these prevent you from doing is hearing anything that we have to say regarding the match. And we need you to be able to hear the communications that we're putting out because it may be very important for the match you're playing. Practice is not allowed between rounds. So inevitably, what will happen is rounds start to finish up. They're running really well, which means they're under the hour and a half or 2 hour time frame, right? That the matches are given. So the tables start emptying out. Inevitably, we get people coming up asking, "Can I go down and practice on the empty tables?" Or they'll want to go practice on the tables. We do not allow it. We don't allow it for a few reasons. One, we're going to use that table really soon, right? Somebody's going to go back out on that table, and we don't want to have the added time and somebody tearing down their stuff, finishing out a rack, so that the players that have to play on a match can actually get on the table. The other thing is practice isn't playing, and practice, while important, right, isn't the same as two players that are in a match. And if they're in a match, playing against or playing right next to somebody that's practicing, it can be distracting to that play, right? So we just prevent it. So we just ask that everybody be respectful of that. Once the rounds start, there is no practice. You can practice before the matches start in the morning or in the evening, or you can find a table somewhere else that you could practice on. But we're using every single one of them. The next one: players must rack for their opponent. This is another question we get all the time. Can I rack my own? No, you can't rack your own. Your opponent must rack. If you do encounter issues with racking, you think you're getting bad racks continuously, or your opponent, somebody's complaining about the rack over and over again, please call a floor manager. We'll come over. We'll address the situation. There have been instances where we've racked for matches before. We do not intend to do that, and we can't do that for 14 matches going on and around. So we ask that everybody, with the racking, do your part, right? If you're racking, rack it well. If you're checking it, you know, make sure that you're not being overly critical of the racks you're getting, right? And we will, if there really is an issue, we will address it. Just know we will address it. The other thing is, people always ask, can we use magic racks, right? The template racks. Yes, you can use the template racks. They will be provided. All we ask is that both players have to agree to the use of the template rack, right? Some players really love them. Some players really don't, right? Some players have a perceived advantage through the rack. The player that uses them less probably doesn't. So you have to both agree. If you both agree, go for it. Right? That's pretty much all I have in the rules department, Jason. I mean, everything's pretty standard, right? We'll get into more. If there's something that comes up on site, there's a few house rules we always do before the rounds about flash photography and things like that. But really, this is it's the same rules everybody's been playing under, with the exception of the dress code and a little bit of our procedures.
Excellent. So, one thing I wanted to mention, because we talked a little bit about the streaming and the fact that Jeremy Jones would be there, and there will be opportunities. Occasionally, we bring some of the players onto the stream and let them do some commentating for the
It's one of my
match.
favorite parts. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
like
it's
that.
not uncommon. So if that's something that you're interested in, and something that you've had a little bit of experience with before, you can come up and talk to Jeremy or I. Jeremy will be there usually afternoon into the evening. I'm there first thing in the morning through afternoon. And so, if you're there and that's something that interests you, just come have a conversation with us, and we'll see if we can't get you involved in the mix a little bit, and have some fun, right? Which is really what it's all about, is getting down there and having some fun. So keep that in mind. Bill, we had a couple of questions that came in that I want to address. The first has to do with transportation. Is there transportation from the hotel to the pool room? The answer to that is no. There is no transportation from the hotel to the pool room. Now, what I do want to mention, though, is there is transportation offered from the hotel, like to and from the airport.
Yes, they do have
Um,
that shuttle.
the
Yeah.
shuttle. So if you've been to the Godfrey before, this was something they did prior to COVID. Last year they weren't offering it, but it's my understanding that on Monday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that shuttle runs 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. It does not run at all on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then it runs again Thursday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, again, that is the hotel shuttle that runs to like the airport. I think it may run like anywhere within a couple of mile radius, but
Yeah.
it doesn't go all the way over to
No,
Strokers.
it doesn't go to strokers. And to speak to the transportation, years ago we attempted to do the transportation, provide our own shuttle. And what we found was there were so many players that had their own modes of transportation that we had, literally out of 160-ish players, we had like two that used it throughout the event. So the decision was made that we would put those resources towards other aspects of the event, and that players would continue to find their own transportation to and from the venue.
Yeah, what I see a lot of times is, of course, you can get an Uber real easy. Tampa is a big city. The location's about a 20-minute drive across the bay, and then north on 19. So it's not a very long drive. But I see a
Beautiful
lot of
drive.
players, they get to know each other, and they start carpooling, right? Somebody's got a car, he'll take a couple of people. She's got a car, she'll take a couple of people. So get to know some people, right? That's the other great thing about these tournaments. Get to know some people. Somebody will have a car. Maybe you can catch a ride here and there, so you don't have to Uber back and forth every time.
Yeah,
All right. So
exactly.
make a friend. Make a friend. All right. A couple other questions that we got. We didn't get a lot of questions. So again, if you've got a question, put it in the chat so we can get to it before we end the stream, which we're just a few moments from based on the number of questions I'm seeing right now. One of the questions, Bill, is shot clock. Is there a shot clock in play at this event?
There is not a shot clock in play at this event. We will monitor times. If we get a complaint about a time, we will come over. We will warn players about that time. We will be more forthcoming if we have to put a shot clock on a table due to slow play. We will be more forthcoming to the players about where the time is, right? So they can visually see it. But as far as a specific shot clock for every single match from the outset, there is not one. So if you're experiencing slow play, if you think your opponent's not playing to speed, if we happen to think that a table itself isn't playing at an appropriate speed, we will address it.
All right. And then the only other question I see as of right now is somebody was asking about logos on shirts. I assume you're allowed to have logos on your shirt, your collared shirt that you're playing in. Is there any
Yeah,
issues with branding or?
with branding, actually, I mean, with this event, getting a local sponsorship from your local pool hall or whatever else is encouraged, even cues and whatever else. We realize that these players, a lot of them are aspiring to do something more in the sport. We understand that, sometimes they're going to be offered some cues or something to represent the USAM, and we're perfectly okay with that type of thing. Where the logos get into an issue is if it's a sports team logo or something like that, right?
Or inappropriate, right? Like
Inappropriate
highly
logo.
inappropriate.
Yes,
We just,
yeah,
don't try to pull any fast ones. Don't make any
yes,
big political statements on your shirt during the
yes.
event. Let's keep it, about pool. And but that's not something that I think we've really seen much issue with
We
over the
haven't
years.
seen much of it. Not at this event. No.
Okay. The only other question, and you kind of addressed it, but we'll mention it one more time, is when the brackets will be posted on CompuSport within the next couple of days, hopefully, like
Yeah, and we'll send
certainly in
out a
advance of people heading
yes, and
out.
we will send out a communication that the brackets are live, so the players will receive that information once they are ready to go and they are available.
Excellent. So there you have it, folks. If you have more questions, if you're watching this after we were live here, you can certainly put the questions in the chat. We'll try to answer them there. But otherwise, we're looking forward to seeing everyone down in Tampa next week. Again, ladies, we're going to see you bright and early Wednesday, February 16th at the Godfrey. At
At
the
the
Godfrey in
Godfrey,
the meeting rooms, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That is your registration and your photo shoot time. Gentlemen or open division participants, we will see you the following day, Thursday, February 17th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Godfrey, not at the Strokers location, at the Godfrey. Again, that's where you need to get registered, get your photos taken. We're going to make you look like a superstar. So you're going to want to make sure you take advantage of that opportunity. Otherwise, Bill, I think that pretty much wraps it up for us.
yeah, I just want to say awesome job for everybody that qualified for this tournament. Again, the fields that you guys had to go through locally, just to even get here. This is just an extension of the two events, 2,700 player field. So to be one of those 160 or so that make it to these two different events, it's an incredible accomplishment. This tournament is unique. It's unlike any other. The fact that you guys have worked so hard to make it to Tampa shows your appreciation for the game. Because, I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about a trophy, a title, and just great competition, right? So it speaks to the character of players that we receive at this event, their commitment to come and play for that alone, right? The opportunity to get their name on that trophy forever. So we really appreciate it. We're looking forward to seeing you all, and hope we have an awesome time in Tampa.
All right, guys, safe travels to Tampa. We will see you all next week. And for those that won't be fortunate enough to join us, make sure you tune into the live stream here on the APA Facebook page or over on the APA YouTube channel. Till next time, guys, thanks for tuning in. See you.
Thank you all.